welcome to the Extra Mile here on the Dashboard Jesus podcast. I know I went long in the podcast, and you can see it in my eyes, can't you? I haven't told this community this yet. Some of you know because some of you who are subscribers are also personal friends or people in the area. I've got a handful of you that are, so you know this. But for the rest of you, I'll now inform you that we're moving again. Ginny and I, we needed to move from our last home when we did. We loved this house, fell in love with the neighborhood, loved it. It's great. We still do. It was a new construction, the first time I've ever lived in a new house before, and I loved it. We haven't had any issues with the house whatsoever. None. The only problem is we moved way too far from my two main places of work, the school and the church. And consequently, it's a 40-minute round trip to either one of those two. 40-minute round trip, which again, I know a lot of people have further commutes than that, but here's what most people don't do. They don't go to work and then go home from work and then go back to work and back home from work and then back to work and back home from work all in the same day. And if they did, they wouldn't be able to sustain their commute. And that's where we are. Because when you, at least, I know there are some teachers who will go and teach during the day and then go home and they won't see the building again until the next day, but that's not me. There's a lot of different clubs and sports and announcing that I'll do, and so I'll be over there for that. Then, of course, I try to make as many of the church activities as possible, and I get to the church for various reasons. And then you add on top of that kids who are now 12, 14, 16, it's like I'm defending myself to you. But anyway, and they have staggered practices and rehearsals and all kinds of stuff. And so pretty soon you find yourself, well, it's not worth it to go home. And I can't go home because I got to pick up another kid here in another 30 minutes and I wouldn't have time to make it there and back. And so then the kid that you've already picked up has to sit there, and they love to just sit there. So it's not feasible. It's not good. And we found a house that we love. So anyway, I'm telling you all of this to explain why I have these dark circles under my eyes. Because this process of moving, we are very excited about the house that we have found and where we're going and all of that. And that's all good, but it's exhausting. There's just a lot that goes into it. And so I feel like I'm not sleeping enough right now, but my mind feels mossy, so that's good. It's vibrant, but I don't have the look of it in my face, and I know that, so please excuse it. All right, does this name mean anything to any of you? I'm guessing there'll be a few of you, because you're around my age or younger, and so you'll know the Smashing Pumpkins. They were kind of a thing, especially like when I was in college and stuff. But the name William Patrick Corgan, he is the founder of the band. He's the lead singer, and he's the main songwriter for the band Smashing Pumpkins. And this guy, who I'm pretty sure in the clip I'm going to show you, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's wearing an Anarchy shirt, of all things. But he goes on the program of Bill Maher, not the one where he has guests on and they talk. This is like his own like podcast and video that he does, where he's got the room set up and they sit there and they drink and they talk. Kind of like the Joe Rogan thing, except just it's Bill Maher. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so Rabid Atheist and Bill Maher and the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, William Patrick Corgan, I doubt that this is going to be anything that I'm going to get something out of. I doubt this is anything I would ever share with my audience. And boy, was I wrong. First of all, as I play this for you, tell me that, and this sounds bad, but it shouldn't, it's just a perfect sphere. This dude's head, this Corgan, he's got his head shaped. It looks like a pumpkin. And it does. I mean, that's all I could think of when I saw it, is Smashing Pumpkins. His head looks like a pumpkin. It's not an insult. Everybody wants a spherical head. You don't want like a tall pencil thing. But it is. It's like the circumference is precise. It's fantastic. Anyway, I want you to hear what this guy has to say. Let's roll this.
I had $1 million by the time I was 24 years old. Okay. A year before that, I was making $12,000 a year working at a record store, and I was broke. Okay. So,
all right, stop. Okay, first of all, that's a testament right there to the opportunity that exists in America. Oh, we always talk about, okay, we got to pay people a living wage. I don't think that William Patrick Corgan ever thought that he was going to stay working at a record store for his entire life. He had a vision, he had a goal, he wanted to do something. He goes from 12,000 one year to $1 million the next. So that's a nice little story. That isn't why I'm playing this for you. Let's get back to it.
I mean, we grew up in a time where millionaire, these days millionaire doesn't mean as much, but the word millionaire still meant something in my brain when I was 24 years old. So I have $1 million when I'm 24 years old.
Can I tell you how frustrating that is, by the way? Like, I always thought $1 million is what you want to get. Do you know now when, like the young teachers that are coming in and they talk to you about retirement and all of that, do you know now that they are advising young people who are starting out working, when you retire, you should try to have $1 million in the bank? It's like the expectation now. And I know inflation and all of that, but millionaire, man, that used to be a huge thing. I remember watching a show, it was an old Disney show, I think Annette Funicello was in it, and Martin Mull. It was called Lots of Luck, where they win the lottery, and they don't know how to manage the money, and they pretty much blow it. I think they do blow it. Then they go back to a normal lifestyle again. I don't know. But $1 million was insane at one point in time, and now, well, you ought to try to have that in the bank by the time you retire. Jeez. All right, anyway, keep going.
By the time I'm 26 on MTV, Platinum Records,
Right.
Saturday Night Live, cover Rolling Stone. I mean, I basically did, by my mid-20s, like most of the checklist.
All the boxes,
Okay.
yes.
And I never felt this sense of satisfaction about it. And I couldn't quite understand why, because everybody around me is like, this is incredible. And I was like, it is and it isn't.
Isn't that amazing? This guy has everything, and everybody around him is acknowledging, man, this has got to be insane for you. You've got everything. It's incredible. It's awesome. It's wonderful. And he's saying, yeah, it is, but it isn't. It's just not enough. There's something missing. By the way, when you watch this, it reminds me of what J.K. Rowling recently said, that there's something unsettling in her, that she's gotten all of this stuff, but there's still this feeling, and she called it a God-shaped hole maybe. She's not a woman of faith. But as you listen to this, tell me that you do not hear the verse in your head, lift up your eyes, because the harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. Listen to what he goes on to say.
So to answer your question, the problem with all of it is it's transactional. Because no matter how many hit songs you write, it's always, what about the next one?
Yeah.
No matter how many records you sold, there's always somebody who's going to sell more records than you. No matter how good you are, there's always somebody telling you, writing online, that you're the worst thing that ever happened. There was always like a asterisk or a qualifier.
Stop. You get what he's saying. That's the thing. You go out and you make $1 million. You're not going to be satisfied. You can't be satisfied because you need more than that. So you keep trying to make more. You will never, ever reach a place where you say, that's enough. And that's true not just of money, but of earthly success in general. Because somebody will always be better. Somebody will always have more. There's always another step to climb. And if there isn't another step to climb, you're going to feel like, well, what am I in this for then? What am I supposed to do with the rest of my time? If there's no, people leave jobs because there's no chance for what? For advancement. That is the eternal struggle of human beings, to try to find this contentment that we will never find in earthly pursuits. It's just amazing when a worldly person is so upfront and honest about that reality. Because non-religious people and people who want to make fun of and think people who are religious are kooky and silly, they don't want to acknowledge this reality. but it is written across our hearts. We know that it's true. Every single one of us does. There's just a lot of us that won't admit it. Keep going.
Only unconditional love in some facet of your life gives you the proper perspective to appreciate what is great about transactional things, but allows you to see them for what they are, which is transactional. There's no Valhalla at the top of Rock Mountain. There isn't. And I've been there multiple times.
Right.
Oh my gosh. That means heaven. There is no heaven at the top of Rock Mountain. You're never going to, you can be Aerosmith, you can be Billy Joel, you can be Elton John, you can be Michael Jackson. There's no Valhalla, there's no heaven at the end of that path. It's still going to leave you wanting more. And did you hear what he said that you needed? Unconditional love in some aspect of your life is required to help you appreciate the things that are transactional. The things of this world. Now, as a Christian, I would say bingo. And the only place that you're going to find that unconditional love is through God. God is the only one that offers that unconditional love to humanity. Families are the closest thing, but only God offers it perfectly. And therefore, only in a relationship with Him, when you recognize and you're adopted into His family as sons and daughters, which we could never earn on our own, we only get it as the consequence of unconditional love. Only in that situation are you going to find contentment for your soul. That's the only place that you're going to find it. Only place that you will find. It's coming out of Him. He doesn't acknowledge it, and you're going to hear he's going to go on and talk about his family. But notice again, even if you're talking about family, you can lose a family member. And then you're left to wonder, like, what reason is there to go on now? Or families can turn against you, whatever the case may be. That's why they will never be able to fill the God-shaped hole in your heart. They'll never be able to bring you that contentment because they will get old and leave if you're talking about your children, or they will get old and pass on if they are your parents that you're talking about. Your spouse will let you down, or your spouse may die themselves, or God forbid, walk away. Only God is going to offer that to you. I'll go ahead and let him finish what he's saying here.
So when I stand in front of 65,000 people, in my hierarchical mind, my family is still above that.
Right. Sure.
I tell my kids all the time, and they're still little kids, and hopefully it'll endure in their brain. I tell them, because they'll come see me play. They'll come on stage with me. I mean, we pull up to where the Mets play in New York, and my daughter goes, "How many people am I going to dance in front of today?" And I said, "Well, 41,000. She goes, "Okay." And then an hour later, she's on stage with me dancing in front of 40,000 people. They're having these immense peak experiences. But I tell them over and over again, no matter what you see Daddy do, no matter what you hear about Daddy, good or bad, you're more important than that. You are so much more important than that to me. I would trade all of this for you.
Okay, first of all, that's an awesome thing for a dad to say. And right there is a major solution to a lot of our social problems. And you and I know that. Involved, loving dads and parents in general. And forming that bond and that relationship. That's great. I will simply reiterate that if William Patrick Corgan, who has obviously realized that all of these transactional relationships and things that he has in life, that there's always another step, if that isn't enough for him, I'm glad that he has found greater value in his family, but he's still not quite there yet. There is still fulfillment that is nagging to be had. You and I as Christians know that. And I hope that God will somehow bring one of us, and I don't necessarily mean in this community, although that would be awesome, but one of us, his followers, his servants, into the path of William Patrick Corgan, who will be able to express that and demonstrate that to him. One more step that you need to make. You've gotten so much of it, but the fulfillment can only come through unconditional love that you've acknowledged, and that will only exist in perfect form from a perfect God. Anyway, I thought that was awesome. I wanted to share it with you. Hopefully an encouragement to you, not just because you have that in your heart, but more importantly, maybe not more importantly, but equally important, we need to carry that message to people because the harvest is plentiful. Workers are few. Let's add to that number. Go get them. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for a From the Dashboard commentary, and then again next week for another Dashboard Jesus podcast and Extra Mile. Bye-bye.